Dan Abrahams is a sports psychologist. Dan, good evening.
Ian, how are you?
Very well, sir. Big day tomorrow for, of course, one Brit, Mr. Andy Murray, SW19. Can he do it, first of all?
Very exciting.
Yeah.
My heart says yes, my head says no.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Well, he's up against the best, but of course the best that his only Grand Slam under his belt so far, of course, is against this very man.
Absolutely, absolutely. The unpredictable nature of sport. In his preparation, hopefully at the moment, he's taking his mind away from things. He's relaxing. All the hard work's been done. He doesn't want to release the adrenaline too early.
Sure.
Tomorrow afternoon, hopefully he gets down to it.
When I was watching him playing this week, he started to do that sort of mumbling and talking to himself, which he used to do a few years ago. And he had that sort of knocked out of him. And found himself in a position where he could get through difficult times without getting too angry with himself. And of course, it's that sort of psychology that a top sportsman is dealing with all the time, isn't it? How do you deal with disappointment? How do you overcome a crushing feeling of, well, I've just lost that point, I'm really angry, but I've now got to get over that and play exactly as I played when I first came out on the court?
You've got to be very tough-minded, and the challenge that Andy Murray has tomorrow, he is playing against an opponent who's possibly the best in the world in any sport at doing that. That's his enormity of challenge, and absolutely I agree with you. I get very scared when you hear Andy Murray chunnering on to himself, and it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes when these sports people chunner onto themselves, in psychology parlance we call that self-talk. Sometimes that's helping him. We saw Djokovic do it in the semi-finals himself. He's getting himself up, he's getting focused. But it's when Andy Murray starts talking to himself about it's going wrong, it's not working, and that slows his anticipation down, it ruins his strokes, he comes away from the tactical game plan he had. There's that fine line. So if he's going to talk to himself, he needs to talk to himself in a productive, helpful, confident way.
He had a difficult quarter-final, difficult semi-final. Statistically, and of course this means nothing really, Dan, then does that therefore follow that he will have an easier final?
As you say, statistically, it doesn't always follow that way. I really cannot see. We never know in sport, do we? But I really cannot see Djokovic giving him an easy time no matter what. Even if Murray goes a couple of sets up, Djokovic is brilliant at staying in the present moment, which is an enormous skill to have in sport, to be able to put the past behind you, to start again all the time in your mind. I think Djokovic is better at doing that than Murray is. That's where Djokovic has the edge. But look, Murray's beaten him before in a final.
That's
it could
true.
be his day.
Yeah, and I do want, I watched Djokovic win a particular point, and you see Murray win a very similar point. If you look at the body language between the two players winning a similar kind of point, then Djokovic seems to look as it's almost like he's just strolled out of bed and picked up a racket and whacked it, whereas Andy looks as if he's doing it for his life every time. And I don't know whether I'm watching that through the prism of I'm a Brit and I'm not used to Brits winning Grand Slams, or whether there really is such a huge chasm between the ability of the two.
I don't think there is technically or physically. I think chasm is a strong word, but there is a difference in the mentality of the two. I think if Djokovic doesn't play his very best tennis, he has the mentality to get through it and still win. If Murray doesn't play his very best, ouch, that could hurt.
So, prediction then, Dan. I mean, I know you want to be patriotic about this.
I do.
You're going to tell me you think it's going to be a Djokovic win, aren't you?
I think so. I'm sorry. I think so. But I'd love to see Andy do it. I'm as big a supporter as any. And that's not to criticise him. That's just, I think Murray still has 5 or 6 years left in him. I think he will continue to mature.
We will watch and wait with interest. Dan Abrahams, sports psychologist. Thank you, sir.